Alright, well, we have what should be a banger here. It's Arnold Allen versus Sodiq Yusuff. So Sodiq is coming off a 15-month layoff, and actually so is Arnold Allen. Both have done really well in the UFC. Both are undefeated in the UFC. So Sodiq is 5-0 in the UFC. I'm counting his Contender Series fight because it was against Mike Davis. So, fair enough. Mike Davis is a beast, so if you're beating him on the Contender Series, I'm notching that on your UFC record. Also, Arnold Allen, he's 7-0, so he's had more fights, but I'd say Sodiq has faced the better competition. But yeah, Arnold, I think he trains at TriStar, which is a very good camp. Good minds there, and definitely good coaches. So yeah, both these guys are very good fighters. Alright, so we'll break down the striking of these two. So for Arnold Allen, he's a southpaw. He's very offensive-minded, as he should be, with the guy who's got a record such as his. And also the opponents that he's been versing. They've been kind of tailor-made for him. But, he fights with the confidence of a fighter that's never been dropped or ever been beaten in the UFC. You can tell his confidence rises every fight. So, it's interesting if he's a confidence type of fighter who needs to be confident to have everything working in his game. It'll be interesting to see once Sodiq does hit him, because Sodiq, he's that type of guy that will take away your confidence, because he has that super aggressive style. He's super aggressive, constant forward pressure. He's, not as effective when he's on the back foot, when he's stagnant, when they're just going shot for shot. But yeah, generally he is the one going forward, and he's trying to throw feints just to throw you off, but also keep you on the back foot. And he won't just headhunt, he'll target the whole body, he'll throw punches to the body, he'll kick the legs, and he has serious power in his hands, especially for a featherweight. But that super aggressive style, he can walk onto strikes, in the Mowgli Benitez fight, he straight up walked onto a straight left from Benitez, and that's probably what Allen will be looking to land, because that's his favourite punch. It's the naked straight left. He definitely opens up his kicks more when he's versing an orthodox fighter, and he will use upper body movement to evade strikes. He'll pull on strikes, just by millimeters, just so he's still in range, and then he can continue, his forward pressure, which is the way he likes to fight generally. But I would say most definitely Sodiq will be on the front foot here. For Sodiq, a few strikes he likes to throw. He's got a nice stiff jab. He's got a nice slip too. The jab won't be too on, just because it's southpaw versus orthodox, but, power hand will be definitely on. So it's, slip 2, 3, which mostly what I reckon he'll be looking for in this fight. Generally has his lead hand extended to gauge range, so yeah, that's also just to kind of get his opponent backing up as well. They see it as a, kind of a threatening thing, the lead hand extended, so they just kind of back up just to get away, because it looks like he's closer than he really is. So that's kind of a way he perpetuates his forward movement as well. But he will trade in the pocket, just so he doesn't give up the front foot. So if you try and push him back, he will just stand his ground, plant his feet, and just throw a combination back. But yeah, he has decent striking defense in the pocket. He slips well, he's got good vision in the pocket, he rolls, he's got a high guard as well. So I think his striking defense is pretty good in the pocket, but he can get caught. And also, he has good low calf kicks. Could give Allen a few problems. Maybe if Sodiq switches southpaw for a little bit, or he just goes to the inside low kick, which isn't as effective, but, Allen does have that boxing style, which means he's heavy on the lead leg, so it could be a good option here. But yeah, so a few things these guys do that I'm not huge on the feet is that Allen will keep his lead hand low or just kind of outstretched at distance, and he'll also reach for his opponent when he gets pressured, so you can tell he's a little uncomfortable when the pressure starts piling on. And for Sodiq, he can telegraph or overextend on his right hand, and that kind of leads to reactive doubles or just, punches down the pipe which have given him trouble in the past. So in the grappling for these two, so Sodiq, he's strong in the clinch. If you watch his pre-UFC fights, he was just clinch heavy. It was really weird. I wasn't expecting it, but he's fairly strong in the clinch. He has good get-ups. He does give his back to get up, but generally he he just powers through it and just just looks to muscle his way back up to his feet. And when he does get on top, he's fairly heavy, especially when he's in mount. Very heavy on top. For Arnold Allen, when he's on top, he has some aggressive ground and pound, and the level of competition he's faced, they don't have the greatest get-ups as well, so he's been allowed to get away with that kind of stuff, but I don't think Sodiq would, let that happen, honestly. He has a decent sprawl as well. He's got good takedown defense. So how these guys win their fights? For Sodiq, we've already discussed it a little bit. He has good striking defense, especially in the pocket, which is pretty handy for his style, pretty necessary. He also has power in both hands, which kind of differentiates himself from his opponents in the 145 division. And he seems to have a good understanding of where he is in fight. He knows where he is in fights. Like, he knows when he's down. He knows when he needs to turn it on. He knows when he can coast. So, say what you want about that, but he seems to have a fairly decent understanding of, where he stands in a fight. And for Arnold Allen, he's very accurate with his boxing, especially the left hand, and he has good fundamental boxing in general, and a really nice jab, which isn't too on in this fight, which isn't too available in this fight, but still, it's a very nice jab. Alright, so how these guys lose their fights? For Arnold Allen, he has trouble with chain wrestling, so good sprawl on the first takedown attempt, but after that he can get, just outmaneuvered with against chain wrestlers. And for Sodiq, his aggressive style, leads to high frequency of knockdowns, high frequency of reactive doubles being landed on him, and they're just kind of point scoring elements which, contribute to a lot on a scorecard, especially a knockdown. It pretty much just gives away the round to the opponent, unless you really come back. But that's just comes with the territory with the type of style that he employs. And also his chin, I'm not 100% sure about it, because he got rocked by Feely. You could see he got rocked. Also Benitez dropped him, and he seemed a little shaky even about a minute after he got rocked. He seemed a little shaky on his feet, and he was striking pretty much as soon as he got knocked down, but he seems like the kind of guy that's going to go out on his shield, and he looked real shaky when he was striking. So and also Luis Gomez dropped him, and I think hit him with a slam or something, or I think he dropped him on the feet earlier. I think he may have slammed him, and it seemed pretty innocuous, but it knocked him out cold, I'm pretty sure. I can't really remember that one. I take this one a while ago, so just going off memory, which is a little foggy, but I think that's what happened. Alright, so path to victory for these two. For Sodiq, I'd like to see him cut the cage off when he's pressuring Arnold Allen. Also low kicks as well, just keep him kind of backing up, but also landing the low kicks as you cut the cage off, so you know which direction he's going to be moving in, and that's when you go for the leg kicks. But just trying to keep him behind the two octagon lines. Use the jab to keep Allen on the back foot, but also, when you're pressuring him and you're throwing out the jab, or you have the lead hand extended, I bet he's going to be reaching for it. The extended lead hand, and if he starts reaching for it, you come over the top with an overhand or a straight right. Because we did discuss that tendency of Arnold Allen's before. But also, extend the combinations just so you can catch him when leaning back. Because in Arnold Allen's fights, he used that upper body movement to evade strikes, which is good, for the 1-2s. Lets you slip 1-2s and come back, or pull 1-2, and come back. But if he's pulling on the 1-2s, you finish it up with a 3 or finish it up with another jab or something, just to kind of catch him as you finish the combination. But also, for Arnold Allen, he keeps that lead hand low, so, look to land that overhand, look to land that counter to counter his straight left. For Arnold Allen, pass to victory. Can't remember if I said this, but pass to victory for Arnold Allen. So get respect early with the hands, just so he's not just walking you down with just reckless abandon and just no fear at all. But to hit the body, it's open because he has that high guard, especially in close. So, lower your level, hit the body. Also, body kicks are open in that southpaw versus orthodox stance. Look to land, the jab and then the overhand because, Sodiq, in the southpaw versus orthodox stance, the straight left is going to be there constantly. It's just whether Sodiq can get that guard up or not. So, yeah, you got to time it pretty well because he does keep that guard up for a large majority of the fight. But also, just trying to stab at the body. Just trying to sap the gas tank throughout 3 rounds. And, obviously, get your boxing going up to the head and whatnot. But I'm just talking about holes I've seen, or like path to victory, or paths where he could have success with that, generally he may not go to. So that's why I'm mentioning the body so much. But obviously, standard boxing to the head as well. Alright, so how I see this fight going. Yeah, great fight between two prospects both with really nice hands. I think Allen has the cleaner hands and the speed advantage, but I definitely got to give the power advantage to Yusuff, and I got to give the grit and the bite down the mouth piece when it comes down to it, advantage to Yusuff as well. I think Allen starts off landing a few good shots, definitely getting his confidence up early on, and, getting the volume up early. Gradually though, I do see the uncomfortability, I believe that's a word, of fighting on the back foot constantly, and also the pressure that Sodiq's going to bring into the octagon. I think it kind of wears on Allen. Not to mention the power of Sodiq that he's definitely going to be feeling in there. It could also make him hesitant and make him throw less volume than he already does. But, I expect this fight to be fought on the feet for the most part. I wouldn't be surprised at a little bit of clinch action, but I think, it'll be a fairly competitive fight, both landing good shots throughout the whole fight pretty much. And in that third round of Feely and Yusuff, Feely was landing with quite high succession with the straight left in southpaw when he switched in the third round. But, did Sodiq just take that round off and coast? It was fairly close. It was a pretty competitive fight. So, if I was his coach, I definitely wouldn't recommend him to coast in that third round. But he did, and it paid off. And I had a bet on Sodiq, and I wasn't 100% sure where the judges were leaning in that first round. But I'm glad they all gave it to Sodiq. But yeah, Feely was landing a lot in the third round. And Benitez, we saw he had some success with the straight left against Sodiq as well. I think both will be landing good shots. I think it'll be a great fight. I think it might even be fight of the night. I think both fighters, their stock will rise after this fight. I think it's going to be a war. I think Sodiq will just edge it out with his volume and his pressure. But I think they're both going to be landing very good shots, and it's going to be really hard to pick a winner at the end of this fight. So, yeah, prediction is Sodiq, and I think he gets it done by decision. I think Allen will be tough enough to gut it out for 15 minutes. But I've got to go with Sodiq. And let's look at the betting lines. Alright, so here are the betting lines. I hope you can't see the draw and zoom thing, because I don't know how to fucking get rid of it. It's so fucking annoying. But yeah, I'll figure it out how to really highlight the line I'm looking at, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I know it's not really a visual medium, but, well, just the way I set out these videos, but yeah, the line is about where I said, about where I reckon it would be. So, in my opinion, it's favoured. it should be favoured for Sodiq, in favour of around 5%, deviation either way. So 55% for Sodiq and 45 on the comeback for Arnold Allen, which is pretty much where the line is at the moment. If it were to go in any other direction, I'd probably play this. So if Sadiq got up to like $1.90, I'd definitely play him, and if Arnold Allen got up to $2.40, I'd play him. But at the moment, yeah, I think the line's about correct and probably where they both should be. So I'm gonna ease off for now, but I'll be watching it.